there was this element of non-violence. And anytime you talk of non-violence, you think of Mahatma Gandhi, you know. So were you all influenced by Gandhi's?
Completely. I read Gandhi when I was in college. I remember when he was killed, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember when Gandhi was killed. And then when I met Cesar, I had no idea that he had also read Gandhi. And so when we were planning the union, you know, before we started organizing the union, we talked about how it would be Gandhi's philosophy, and the ashrams that they had in India, and that kind of led us to the whole idea that we had to live in poverty, because if we wanted to do Gandhi's philosophy, we could not make more money than the workers did, and that we had to live like them. And you know, the whole idea of the marches, we see the March to Sacramento, that was Gandhi. Cesar's fast that he did 3 fasts, you know, without any food. Two of them for 25 days, and the last one for 36 days. And I mean, the whole philosophy of Gandhi was so strong. And when our martyrs were killed, you know, the 5 people that were killed in our movement, what we did is Cesar asked everybody to fast for 3 days. Because he didn't want anybody to resort to violence against the people that had killed our martyrs. And so the Gandhi philosophy was extremely strong. And in fact, before Cesar passed away, there were 2 things that we had wanted to do. And one of them was to, you know, go back to communities and form the ashram. In fact, where we lived at La Paz, so where Peter said he went as a child, that was like a community where everybody that we worked, any money that we raised all went to the union. Everybody, we got $5 a week and our subsistence, but it was a community pretty much on the Gandhian style.
Self-reliant.
Yeah, and then Cesar stopped eating meat. You know, he became a vegetarian. So he was a complete devotee of Gandhi, and he read everything on Gandhi that you could find. I mean, his library had every single book on Gandhi. And the one thing he was always, how did he organize? How did he organize? This is what he was looking for. And so Gandhi's philosophy was it was really part of our movement, completely part of our movement.
How did you discover Gandhi's book in your college library?
I don't remember where I got the book, but I remember reading it and reading about how he handled the racism, you know, when he went to Britain and the way that they treated him. And I thought, this is the stuff that I was living as a young, you know, 17, 18-year-old, you know. This is what I was living, the thing that Gandhi had gone through. And so it had an incredible, I must have read the book on Gandhi maybe 3 times, you know, because it had so many lessons for me and ways that I could cope with the racism that I was living.
I think there are linkages and connections there, and they're directly tied and linked to what came out of India and the whole philosophy of ahimsa, nonviolence. And one of the things that struck me, and also I feel one of Dolores' reluctances to acknowledge and take credit for it, it also is connected to Gandhi, and that's the idea of seva. That in
service,
as a form of worship, you offer service to all life. But the thing about seva, in order for it to have and accumulate power, you can't claim the fruit of your actions and display it to the world. You offer it and you do it silently. Selflessness. And I think both Cesar and Dolores tried to bring that idea to the movement.
Yeah, and I don't think nonviolence is not a tactic, it's a philosophy.
Yeah, it's a philosophy.
It's a philosophy.
It's a
like,
way of life.
Yeah, it's a philosophy, and like in the pharmaco movement, you know, we had an education, training, and a school, and everybody in there had to learn how to do meditation. They all had to do yoga. I mean, Cesar did yoga.
This is in the 60s?
Yeah, well, throughout the movement, I mean, from the time we started, all of us living communally at La Paz, we call it the Peace La Paz, the town is really King, California, but in all of the instructions that they had with the different, you know, lessons that we taught people, one of them was on meditation, one of them was on yoga as part of the whole issue of nonviolence. Cesar did yoga every single day of his life, and he meditated every single day of his life. In fact, the night before he died, people that were with him say that he was doing yoga that night before he died in his meditation. Every morning he would get very early and do his meditations.
Thanks for watching. If you missed any of our shows, you can catch them on our YouTube channel. We'll be back again next week with another edition of our show. Until then, goodbye.